A lot of the arguments against parental alienation are rather flimsy. They reflect a lack of understanding of what is parental alienation. For example, they're claiming that, whenever a child refuses contact, they're claiming it's alienation. That's just simply not the case, clearly, that children can refuse contact with a parent for valid reasons and then invalid reasons. That it's a very strict definition, when we're talking about parental alienation, that it refers to, unjustified rejection of a parent. There are some crazy claims made that courts are, that these are abusive parents that are trying to divert attention away from their own perpetration of abuse. Lots of research about that, making it very clear that, in fact, alienating parents are more likely to be abusive in other ways. It's not only a form of emotional child abuse, but parental alienation is also linked with other forms of abuse as well, physical and other forms of psychological abuse. So this is a new field of practice for therapists. There are a lot of people who lack professional credentials who may enter kind of a new field of practice and claim that they're parental alienation therapists, specialists in the area. There are very few training programs available. There are some, but it's a field very much in its infancy. I think we can say with confidence that clearly this is a massive social problem that affects many people. We know that in countries where there is strong shared parenting law, family laws, shared parenting is the foundation of family law, that the incidence of parental alienation is much less because there are, the society is, the norm is that parents will share the care of children, and parents are expected to get on board with that idea. But in many countries, there's still this idea that when parents can't get along, when they can't agree, one parent must have the primary care of children and the other, can be a visitor in the child's life at best. And in these cases, parental alienation flourishes. In a way, I would say, in these legal systems, they themselves are promoting alienation because they're pitting parents against each other in a legal battle where they need to disparage the other person as a parent. Whoever is granted the custody has a sense of entitlement, and if they're given free rein to engage in parental alienating behaviors. So in those jurisdictions, it's very, very difficult. It's very much a field in its infancy. There are some excellent programs, but there are a lot of kind of experimental programs that maybe these kinds of concerns are valid. To me, the key issue is that we need kind of societal and legal legislative support for shared parenting, where both parents are equally valued as caregivers and are expected to cooperate with each other. But when you have a system that is going the other way, no amount of reunification programs are going to be effective. We have some evidence that some of the programs are effective, especially when the court system and other social institutions really are behind the idea that children need both parents in their lives and that alienation is extremely harmful to children. When you've got that kind of backing, then these programs are considered to be important and are supported by government, supported by the judiciary. Training requirements and standards of practice for therapists and mediators working in this field of reunification and providing therapeutic services to alienated children and parents. There's more expected of these folks, and there's standards of practice and training requirements set up. But in other jurisdictions where that's not a priority, you're going to get just people coming out of the woodwork and claiming, I'm doing reunification therapy, but they really don't have the the training to do so. This is a field I'd really emphasize where specialized training is vital. There's so much involved in reunification therapy in terms of knowledge of child development, in terms of being able to distinguish between, abuse and alienation, and really assess what's going on. A thorough grounding in family dynamics, in family violence and intimate partner abuse. There are just so many areas where specialized training is required to do good work. So, and there just aren't enough people who are adequately trained, with standards for practice being established in the field. Family mediation was the same a number of years ago. Many people just sort of came forward and said, we're doing mediation, but they didn't have the qualifications. So the field established its own association in each country and are regulating the practice. We need to do that in regard to parental alienation reunification specialists. They're few and far between. In regard to intervention, it needs to be kind of a multifaceted approach involving prevention, intervention, a recognition that this is a form of child abuse. It's also a form of family violence against targeted parents. We have to intervene at many different levels to really begin to tackle this.